Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the most complex, most mysterious object in the known universe, something we actually know less about than some distant galaxies, and it's sitting right inside your own head.
So, what is this great mystery? You might be thinking it's something light years away out in the cosmos, but no. The answer is much, much closer to home.
Yep, you guessed it. The human brain. It's seriously one of the last great frontiers of science, this incredible biological machine that runs pretty much everything we do, think, and feel.
So, to really get a handle on the brain's power, we first have to wrap our heads around its sheer scale. And believe me, when I say it's incredible, that's an understatement.
Get this, 86 billion neurons. And if that number doesn't blow your mind, try this on for size. Just 1 cubic centimeter of your brain tissue has more connections in it than there are stars in our entire Milky Way galaxy. It is, without a doubt, the most complex structure we've ever encountered.
But here's the thing, the brain isn't static. It's not like it's a finished product the day you're born. Oh no, it goes through this absolutely radical transformation, especially from the time you're a baby all the way through your teenage years. So let's break that down into 2 really critical periods. First, you've got the infant brain. Think of it like a sponge. It just soaks up everything. It can even tell the difference between all 800 sounds in every human language. But then, during the teenage years, it's a whole different ballgame. It becomes more like a sculpture, getting chiseled down into its final, more efficient form. So this sculpting process has a name. It's called synaptic pruning. And what that means is the brain literally gets rid of the neural connections it's not using, so it can double down and strengthen the ones it is using. It's this massive use it or lose it system. And, that's exactly why the things we get passionate about as teenagers, whether it's playing an instrument, learning a language, whatever, that's why that stuff often sticks with us for life.
And all this teenage brain rewiring? Well, it also messes with their internal clock. The sleep hormone, melatonin, it actually gets released 1 to 2 hours later than it does in adults. And that right there, that's the biological reason why a 7 a.m. school start can feel like 5 a.m. to a teenager. Seriously, they're not just being lazy, they are literally hardwired to be night owls.
Okay, so the brain's ability to change is amazing, but it's not just for kids. So what happens when an adult brain gets damaged? You'd expect loss, right? Well, sometimes. Sometimes the result is something completely different, something astonishing.
Just take the absolutely wild case of Derek Amato. Back in 2006, a severe concussion completely changed his life. Days after the accident, and get this, he'd never had a single piano lesson, he suddenly sat down and could play like a master. He said he just saw these complex musical patterns in his mind, and his fingers just knew what to do.
This phenomenon is called acquired savant syndrome. And the leading theory? It's that the injury basically forced his brain to rewire itself on the fly, and in doing so, it unlocked this dormant potential that was just sitting there the whole time. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What kind of hidden genius could be locked away inside every single one of us? All right, but for all this incredible potential, there's a flip side, a dark side. The brain can manifest in extremes, from profound, unlocked creativity to a truly chilling and dangerous lack of empathy.
I mean, look at someone like the serial killer Ted Bundy. On the surface, people described him as charming, handsome, totally normal. But underneath, something was terribly wrong. So how? How can the same kind of brain produce both a creative genius and a monster?
Well, neuroscientists have actually found physical differences. When they scan the brains of many convicted psychopaths, they see less activity in a specific area, the prefrontal cortex. That's the part right behind your forehead. It's basically our impulse control center, our conscience. You can think of it as the brake that stops us from acting on our worst impulses.
And this, of course, brings us to that classic question, nature versus nurture. Was someone like Bundy just born evil? Well, it's probably way more complicated than that. A good way to think about it is like this. The brain deficit, that poorly working prefrontal cortex, that's like having broken brakes in a car. But a traumatic childhood, which Bundy had, that's like someone slamming their foot on the accelerator. It's often that terrible, tragic combination of both. So we've seen the brain's incredible plasticity and its dark side. But now, let's go somewhere else entirely, to the truly extraordinary, to abilities that seem to push the boundaries of what we think is even possible.
Okay, you might not believe this, but during the Cold War, the CIA got paranoid. They were so concerned that the Soviets were weaponizing psychic abilities that they figured they needed to do the same. So they started their own top-secret program, and they called it Project Stargate. The mission? To train psychic spies.
So
Here's how it supposedly worked. These operatives, they were called remote viewers, would go into a room, get nothing but a set of map coordinates, and then be asked to describe what they saw there. And according to the declassified reports, they had some pretty incredible hits, like pinpointing the location of a crashed Soviet bomber in Africa, all from a quiet room in Maryland.
Now, look, Project Stargate is still highly controversial, of course, but it just goes to show how far we're willing to push to unlock the mind's power. And today, scientists are looking at an even more radical frontier, not just exploring the mind, but maybe uploading it entirely to escape our physical bodies for good.
The biggest challenge by far is mapping what's called the connectome, which is basically a perfect blueprint of all your brain's unique wiring. And the sheer scale of this task is, well, it's astronomical. To give you some perspective, so far we've only managed to fully map the brain of one animal, a tiny little roundworm with just 302 neurons. A human brain? That would generate something like 1 zettabyte of data. That is 1 times trillion gigabytes. We are a long, long way off. And this all leads us to a final, really profound question that's less about science and more about, well, philosophy. Because even if we could perfectly upload your mind, it's not a transfer, it's a copy, a duplication. So for a split second, there would be 2 of you. And if the original, biological you dies, is that digital copy really you? Or is it just a perfect echo of you, left behind in a machine? It just goes to show you the deepest mystery isn't just how the brain works, it's what it actually means to be us.
Health is the most precious gift. If this video helped you or someone you love, please like, subscribe, and share so more families can stay safe and healthy.